Hello everyone and welcome to this first ever episode in English on the Innovation Shuttle, and also to the first episode from my new home from Silicon Valley here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Today, as you hear it, is a very special episode for many reasons, but the most important reason in my opinion is really that we have a very special guest today, which is Wikings Machado. He has a very successful corporate career behind him, and now he started his own venture capital fund. He's a very special guest also because he gave me my first tour through Silicon Valley back in 2020, just before the COVID crisis started. And today he's the first guest in Silicon Valley in the Innovation Shuttle. So at this point, have fun, enjoy the video, and enjoy the perspective into Silicon Valley venture capital. Have fun. Wikings, welcome to the Innovation Shuttle. Amazing,
thank you so much.
Amazing to have you on board. I mean, we see your tan. You just came back from a long trip to Brazil.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're now in Palo Alto. We drive across Palo Alto and Stanford today. And yeah, I'm thankful that you're here. I also told the audience that you gave me my first Silicon Valley tour, and you're the first guest in the Silicon Valley
That's
in
right.
the Innovation Shuttle. So I will start driving. My first question to you would basically be, who is Wikings Machado? What makes you special? What brought you to this place? And also, what is your new company? What are you doing?
Sure, let's get started. So,
All right.
Wikings Machado is a Brazilian guy, born in a former German colony in the south of Brazil. Yeah, so I started my professional life at the age of 16 as a coder, working for a Brazilian startup, which was developing enterprise software. So I did for a couple of years. Was the most amazing part of my professional life, I would say. That's
so
where
you really love coding.
I love coding. I love
good,
coding. I still do it. I still do it. I mean, if you open my laptop, you see I still have Python there.
That's good.
Yeah. So I like coding. That's how I got into tech. At some point in time, I mean, I never thought about going to college, but at some point in time, I figured out it would not be bad to go to college. So I decided to move to Germany, having some German background, speaking German, and moved to Konstanz in the good lake of Konstanz in the south of Germany. And originally I was there to become a software engineer, but frankly, after a semester I realized there's not much new to learn here. Let me study something else. So I got a degree in economics.
Well, that's a powerful mix.
Yeah.
If you come from coding and then you add the entire economy part, that's strong.
Yeah. So then I joined Siemens, which is a company which I have I really have Siemens in my heart. I spent many years working there. Joined back in 2002. Funny enough, even having an economics degree, they asked me to join the R&D department.
Okay.
So, they said, oh, you know, apparently my technical background was stronger than my economics background for whatever reason, and I spent some time there, had different roles there. I was part of the M&A team. I was.
So you finally got into business then?
I got into business.
Okay.
Yeah. I was head of marketing and strategy. I was the CEO of one of the business units for quite some time. I had one of the most exciting challenges I've ever had, which was restructuring a quite complex business, which was a service business in the energy space. Wow. Which was fun, was big fun. I learned a lot about people. I learned a lot about, you know, having to control budget. I learned a lot about having to leave under pressure.
Yeah.
And but I must say, at some point in time, I realized that my passion for technology and innovation, that was the reason why I joined Siemens back in 2002. At that time, Siemens was one of the largest tech companies in the world. I mean, you must think that back in 2002, Apple was nothing compared to Siemens.
Yeah.
Google was a tiny company still. I mean, Siemens was the technology company together with other names like IBM at that time, and Cisco. But then back in 2017, I realized, hey man, I need to go back into tech. I love technology, I love innovation, and that's when I learned about Next 47. Next 47 was being born at that time, and the first chance I had to sell myself into to Locke, Next 47 CEO, I did it. It's a funny story. He was in Brazil.
It is actually one of my favorite stories ever, and it's a role model story for me, so feel free to share it real quick.
Yeah, no, it was funny. I mean, I when I learned about Next 47, I told myself, if there's a place, if I'm going to stay at Siemens, I got to work for Next 47, which was an amazing initiative. I would say probably one of the coolest things Siemens has done in the past 10 years.
I agree.
Locke was in Brazil for a conference. He was there for literally 36 to 48 hours. I told Herr Stark, the former...
So back then everybody was still saying see and not do?
Exactly, yeah.
I'm so happy that I skipped that part in my work history.
The former CEO for Siemens in Brazil, and I said, hey, I need to meet Locke.
Yeah.
I need to sell myself. I need to work for Next 47. And what I've learned was, so the only chance I had to approach him was in a transfer. Yep. From the conference Locke was talking to the Siemens offices in Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
I jumped in the car. I told Mr. Stark, hey, it's my turn now. You find another way to get to the office. I have to sell myself to Locke.
Yeah.
I did it. Fast forward a couple of months later, I was working in Palo Alto, being part of Next 47. So that's how much I wanted this job. I mean, I managed to pull the country CEO out of the car, yeah, and get his spot. So.
But that's showing initiative, and I think if you have that in you, and if you're bold enough to go for opportunities like that, and I think that's something we should also share on this platform. Whenever you think that there's something you should go for, give it a chance, because eventually it works out.
Yeah. If you allow me, make a right on Palm Drive. We'll have a wonderful view of Stanford.
I will.
Yeah. So I make a left. I'm sorry. I'll make a left.
That's a good thing about the US. In Germany, I would have many people giving me a horn now.
Okay.
In the US, it's all good. It's all good. All right, so then you landed here, and this is pretty much also where we met then in 2020.
That's
just
right.
before COVID hit.
Yeah.
So what did you do at Next 47? And by the way, Next 47 is the venture capital fund of Siemens. So the technology company Siemens has a venture capital fund to invest into startups. And what did you do there?
Yeah, that's right. So it's a $1.2 billion fund. Siemens venture capital arm. So I was one of the early members. One of my key assignments there was to set up a team which would work on the value add part. And I mean, it was an amazing experience. I mean, I had the chance to work with great entrepreneurs. One of the people I like, one of the entrepreneurs I had amazing experience working with was Greg Mark, the founder of Mark Forge, who took the company public last year. It was great working with him. We had a chance to add a ton of value to Mark Forge. I worked very close to a company called Clarity in the cybersecurity space, also and Unicorn in the cybersecurity space. So it was an amazing place where I could learn a lot.
And you obviously created a lot of value at the same time. Well, and this is always a good fit, right? If you grow and you can make your company or the other companies you work with grow, that's a match. Yeah.
So I mean, was an interesting experience. I've learned a lot. I think for me personally, and being even a bit selfish on that, I could learn a lot in my time with Next 47, and
what was next?
Yeah, but still, I mean, had the chance to build teams in Europe, build teams here in the West, and but then what's next was like, I mean, I have a passion for the place where I was born. I have the passion for Brazil. I mean, and I always think for some reason my family has chosen to move to Brazil, and there must be something there, right? Yeah. And
now I have to interrupt you. I'm really sorry that the camera is facing backwards, because you were right. This is really beautiful.
Yeah, this is a Stanford. I mean, do you want to stop and turn the camera to show the Stanford campus?
we actually could do that. We actually could do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this place. I was here yesterday actually, doing a walking with my.
It was actually one of my first trips when I came to the Bay Area in December. I came here to visit the campus, and I always buy my books here because I think it's such an inspirational place, where you can just you get so much energy out of this. So everybody who has never been here, this is the view to the Stanford campus, and well, you name some famous people who went here, because I don't really know.
To name some, well, let's start with the Google founders. I mean, Sergey Brin and Larry Page for sure.
Yeah, and I do understand it. When I walked here the first time, I have to say, it gives you the feeling of freedom. Honestly, if you walk over the campus, it just gives you the feeling that you can achieve anything you want. Well, that's the feeling I have when I walk around here.
Somehow I think that you look at the spirit. I mean, we can tell about a number of people who have been here and have built great things, but I believe the real who should carry the honor for that are really the founders. Again, we're in a place where founders make the difference, and the Stanford family, I would say they were the top founders in Silicon Valley. I mean, just coming up with this idea, which was embedded in so much passion. I mean, they wanted to do something around their son, who they lost. Yeah. And so putting this together was an amazing thing. And I mean, if we talk about anyone connected to Stanford, that should be the Stanford family first, and all the rest is a consequence. Yeah. 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 But
coming back to your roots in Brazil, that you wanted to do something with your.
So and then I realized that I mean, getting my passion for technology and innovation, getting the fact that it's a region where, frankly, VC has developed for sure. I mean, innovation, entrepreneurship has developed for sure. But it's still, I mean, if we look at the VC activity in all of Brazil, and if we take the VC activity in the city of San Francisco or San Jose, man, you're basically comparing very similar things. I mean, the amount of VC you have in a city like San Jose, here in Silicon Valley, is probably comparable to all the VC money you have running in Brazil these days. Yeah. So there's still a lot to evolve. And although we're talking about one of the largest economical regions in the world, I mean, Brazil's GDP is number 9 these days. So it's relevant, 200 million people. Yeah. There's still so much inefficiency. And I believe that I mean, you can't simply rely on governments and states to solve that inefficiency. You need to rely on tech. You need to rely on technology. And I believe that if you look at what happened at Nubank with Nubank recently, so that's the one.
That was the one story I always connected to that area of innovation.
So we have, if we simply look at Brazil, we have. Everywhere, every part of the economy you look at. I mean, Nubank was there in the finance space, making possible that a bunch of people who could hardly get a credit card could finally get a credit card. Yeah. You see that sort of inefficiency, that sort of problem in different parts of the economy. Yeah. I mean, one area I'm deeply looking at is agriculture, for example. Yeah. So over 25% of the Brazilian GDP relies on agriculture, and which, so to say, is part of my family's origin as well. I mean, part of my family were farmers in the past. Yeah. It's really hard to get credit. It's really hard to ship whatever you have produced. It's really, I mean, hard to control what's happening on the field, on the farms. Yeah. And again, tech can help overcome those problems. And we're just at the start of the curve.
Especially if you have a huge economy, as you just said, right? And you don't have the technology that we might have in Germany or in the US as some examples. So I assume that if you bring technology to such a big economy, the wins that you can bring, the amount of increases you bring to efficiency, productivity, and therefore to the quality of life of the people is so much higher than in areas like San Francisco or Berlin or London or something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, here you're shaving efficiency, so to say. I mean, and frankly,
instead of same day delivery, you deliver groceries in 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Way.
Yeah. And again, there the things are different. I mean, you finally can have something delivered to your place.
Yeah. You get a bank account.
Yeah.
Within minutes.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And things like that. I mean, here you're shaving efficiency, and it really, having lived in Europe, having lived here in the US, you realize how much efficiency can be gained in this economy, and I think that that a tech will make a big difference. And again, that brings you another characteristic of the kind of startups we're seeing there. We're not seeing so much deep tech, but basically startups which are making use of existing tech to solve
high impact, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they bring value to the society. They bring value, I assume, to economical growth while being sustainable.
Yeah.
So all these things, I assume, are much more important in that part. So you now have your own VC fund focusing on Latin America, especially Latin America or Brazil.
So basically, and let me talk a little bit about Citrino Ventures.
And also about the vision. That would be something that I'm very interested in.
So yeah, I mean, the vision was to put in place some of the things I've learned at Next 47. You can put the power of your LP to work in favor of the startups. I mean, Next 47 did an amazing job doing that, and that was my key learn, and this is exactly what I'm trying to do within Citrino Ventures. So we got two very strong LPs. Citrino Ventures, one of the largest tech companies in Latam, and the family office, which is managing the wealth of a large industrial family in the region. And so basically one of our visions is to take the power of this large corporations to the startups we'll be investing in. So this is something we are aiming at and we're trying to do. We're just starting. So we started the screening a couple of weeks ago. So we launched January. We are, as I said, we're looking into spaces like agriculture, like education, and like finance. So fintech is something that we're deeply looking at, and manufacturing as well. So industrial tech is something that we're looking at. Very strong focus on early stage. So
and that might be a big difference for you, right? Because Next 47 is more on the later stage side of things, and now you're going early stage.
Yeah, exactly.
So even higher risk.
Even higher risk, but I mean, it's still a young market when you look into it's still when you look into startups. It's not like here that you find companies raising Series B and C everywhere. There's a wide variety of early stage companies, and again, if you want to be part of this game, you have to bet on them. And also, I mean, we'll be writing checks between 500K US to $5 million, so that's what we'll be doing.
So how big is the fund? I mean, we said Next 47 was what, 1 billion euro, right?
Yeah, 1.2 billion. So we are talking about around $70 million. That's the fund size we're working there.
And that's a big one already, I would say.
Yeah, I mean that's valuations are hard these days. So
especially here, right? But
people are learning that there as well. But again, we're trying to just going back to the areas we're looking at, and again that can change any time. As the more we screen for startups, the more we talk to people. Certainly we'll learn more, and we'll get interested in other spaces as well, but we are trying to look into spaces where we believe lots of efficiency can still be gained in the region. And again, one of the areas I have mentioned agriculture, gave some examples, but if we look at manufacturing or into the industry space, so if you get an average factory in Germany, the assets running the factory are probably 5 years old on average. If you come here to the US, you'll be talking about 7 to 9 years old. If you go to South America, or especially to Brazil, the assets are on average 17 years old.
Wow.
So you can imagine how much inefficiency old machines bring. So you need to be much better in maintenance. So this is a space we're looking at deeply right now, because we understand that will contribute a lot to the efficiency of the manufacturing there.
I think it's just like if you compare it to your own home, if you have many like old electronic devices, you basically can increase efficiency or connect them with some smart light bulbs or something. But if your device is only 3 years old, most features are already built in.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
With some like smaller tech pieces, you can basically make your old tech new again, or at least add a level of connectivity. And I assume it is the same thing for agriculture, for production, manufacturing and stuff.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
Yeah.
Exciting times for you.
No, it's exciting. I mean, as I said, I just got back from almost 5 weeks down there in Brazil. It was really great. We hired an initial team.
Awesome.
Who's working there, working on screening, and talking
so you
to a
met
bunch
them
of people.
For the first time there?
I've met them for the first time. So good people.
Yeah.
One of the guys I got to my team is a guy called Felipe Fornazieri. He worked here in the Valley for quite some time, over 10 years ago. He was responsible for setting up a couple of corporate back VC funds down there in the region. I got another guy, Jevin Rothnacher, who's a production engineer.
Okay.
Has worked for a couple of big corporations as well, like AB and Bev.
So you have pretty complementary talent
we do
in your team.
We do. Not just say my partner Citrino, the family office as well. They have great people. They have a team of 20 plus people with very diverse background and people who also understand certain businesses really well, like agriculture, like minings and metals and things like that.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I wish you all the best with that one.
Thank you.
As we talked about like corporate venture capital, but also now at this kind of venture capital where you are really completely in the driver's seat, what would you say is like the different focus? I don't want to say about advantages and disadvantages, but what is the difference in focus of your fund versus what maybe a corporate venture capital fund does, and not only Next 47, but maybe also others that you saw in the past.
And perhaps that's the one thing we should reinforce here is that what we're trying to do there is basically, and I think that's a key difference between our fund and other funds. We're looking for money mostly from corporate sources, so that we can still have the power of the corporations behind us. So
that is actually really smart, right? Because you saw also with Next 47 and the part you worked in that you can leverage the big corporation a lot because you have a sales network, you have a brand that stands behind it, and if you basically put the startup and the corporation together, you can increase your rate of success a lot.
Exactly. And so we will, I'm not saying that we'll never look for other LPs who are not corporations, but what we're doing right now is really, I mean, our LPs today, they're mostly corporations which have a well-developed sales network, a well-developed suppliers network who, have their space in a specific market. And that's the kind of LP we want to attract because we understand there's a big value there. There's a huge value for the startups, which goes beyond the money, goes beyond the dollars. Helping a startup to sell something. I've seen how powerful that was with Next 47. That's what we want to do there. So. So having said that, I mean, not lots of difference there. Since this is the profile of the LPs we want to have there, and what I can say as well is that that's great for the corporation as well because their images will. I mean, it's good for their image to be working with startups. It's good for their learnings.
I mean, I'm the best example for it, to be honest. Next 47 also has this internal accelerator where we basically work together with parts of your teams from Next 47, but also with many stakeholders from the Silicon Valley area, and we basically learned what Next 47 saw in successful startups. They gave it back to Siemens internal startups. So I do think that this is a really good way for corporations to do something, of course, for their portfolio, also success, also branding to the outside, but also for their internal power to innovate.
Yeah, that's right. And so we want to work not only on the value for the for the startups itself, which we'll certainly do, and that's our major focus, but also on the value for the corporations, for the help, which we have as our LPs there.
Yeah. Great. Vikings, we're almost there.
Great.
That was exactly the content I was hoping for. Once again, great conversation with you. Likewise. I do have a final treat for you. Imported from Germany, Bavaria.
Great.
Everybody who knows the videos knows also the ginger shots. I brought you all three. You can choose one for now, and then we can drink it. It is one traditional one with, excuse my English, pomegranate or something. I think that's the pronunciation.
Okay.
And one with kurkuma.
Grapefruit.
No, it's a Granatapfel.
Granatapfel.
It's pomegranate.
Okay.
But the pronunciation is just, I'm not good at this one. So you can decide which one you want to drink, and the other ones are for you. It's basically a shot of healthiness.
Okay.
From a startup in Bavaria.
I'm picking from the color. I love this one. I love this color here.
Awesome.
Let me go for this one here.
Yeah, so you really have to shake it and then...
Can we mix tequila on it?
Well, at home.
Okay. Cheers.
And I do say we need this at Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Because those are the most delicious ginger shots in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right. Enjoy the other two. Maybe give one to your family or both. I don't know.
I will.
And thank you again for joining the Innovation Shuttle, Vikings.
My pleasure, Philip.